up every morning with a pain that I can't place. The devil don't visit for the weekend, oh, he stays and stays and stays. And I can't shake this restless wind blowing to my back.
After emergency crews responded to Ordway, Colorado home on August 8, 2021 on reports of a dead baby, what they found would shock them and shake them to the core. They entered a hoarder's house. It was so bad the baby had gotten lost in the house and ended up dead. This case is a horrendous case that does involve children, so viewer discretion is advised. It is a bad one, so definitely a warning on this one. And it is also a breaking case that has just occurred. Hello, my name is Holly, and this is the Murder She Shed, the place we honor the dead right from my she shed. Before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more rarely heard true crime right from my little she shed. As of now, the baby in this case has not been named, so we will call him Baby B. First responders received a report on August 9, 2021 that a baby was not breathing. They were called to a property in Crawley County, Colorado. The sheriff reportedly contacted Jason and Joy Soltani, and they weren't able to provide a birth certificate. The mother, Joy, also shared 2 different birthdays to the doctor and wouldn't speak with the sheriff. Supposedly, all the children were born at home. CPR was administered on the little baby before he was transported to the hospital via ambulance. Jason, the father, if we can call him that, has been with the mother, Joy, since she was underage, so he groomed her. The baby was pronounced dead at the hospital, and the Crawley County coroner was called to the scene. The coroner reported that he found Baby B filthy, with dirt on feet, fingernails, and scalp, with a lot of wax built-up in the ears. Parents would not accept the child's death and claimed they were going to just pray and have Baby B resurrected, and initially refused to give custody of the child to the coroner for the autopsy. Baby B had never walked, and his feet were so filthy that a nurse felt there should be some type of disease causing the feet to be so black. And as she began washing the little baby's feet, she discovered that they were just dirty. They were just dark and filthy because they were just so dirty. A baby that can walk, and his feet were this filthy. It's just so disturbing. An autopsy performed on August 8, 2021 in El Paso County noted there was no food content in the baby's stomach, no urine in the baby's bladder, and the baby was only in the 25% of the normal growth rate for a child of his age. It also said the baby had recently been below the 0% average height weight according to the World Health Organization charts. When the 911 call was placed, Jason can be heard saying, "Has anyone laid eyes on Baby B today?" As if they couldn't find that little baby in all this house. It was just a huge hoarder's house. It was filthy, disgusting, and they basically lost the baby, I guess, at times in this house. Horrible. While the baby was been taken to the hospital, a search warrant was obtained for the Ordway residence. According to the affidavit, deputies knocked and announced themselves numerous times, but no one would even answer. Eventually, a deputy began breaching the property. As they began to break in the door, that's when the 18-year-old Sierra Soltani, a half-sister to the dead baby, opened the door. Investigators found 6 additional children whose ages ranged from 8 to 8 months living inside that home that was described as a hoarder's house. A total of 10 people lived there, and the house was built in 1918 and was a 1 1/2 story single-family dwelling with only 1,465 square feet of living, but it lived 10 people in this house. The house was filthy and unkept with trails to rooms, sticky floors, children sleeping on piles of dirty clothes and dirty car seats. It smelled of human feces. The children later told investigators that some of them were forced to sleep and stay in the car seats. Investigators noted they weren't able to identify where everyone slept or lived, and no one was able to identify where the dead baby was found or slept, or who had last seen the baby alive. An interview with the children noted that the body of their dead dog Doodles was kept in a box they used for a coffee table. Their dead dog was kept in a box that was used as a coffee table. And one child said, I don't know why they kept him in there. Oh, Lord, guys, this case, I don't even know what to say in this case. I really don't. This one's got me lost for words, and that don't happen very much. It was noted that the parents would not speak to law enforcement, and they weren't present at the time of the search. Investigators moved the children from the scene to River of Life Church, where they were fed and allowed to play. It appeared the children had not eaten lately. Custody of the 6 children was turned over to DHS due to their poor condition, filthy, unsafe house, and the unexplained death of the baby. The 18-year-old daughter was not removed, and it is believed she could be a mother to some of those children. So basically, her father, Jason, groomed and had babies with his own daughter. So, yeah, now we got some incest involved in this case. I don't think there's nothing that is not involved in this case. It's full of everything, basically. But the children have not had a DNA test, so we don't know for sure. Jason's own mother, Linda, stated that they did not feed the baby and killed the baby. While being recorded on a body-worn cam, Linda described how Jason and Sierra had starved and abused the children. Sierra is the 18-year-old daughter of Jason that he abused too. During the autopsy, the death of the baby was ruled undetermined and the parents were not arrested. In 2022, a year later, it was learned that Joy was pregnant again. That is when the children began to speak up to foster parents and therapists because they did not want the new baby to die too. During the interview of the children, they stated baby B died with a plastic bag over his head. The arrest paper added the Soltanis are flight risk after they went to New Mexico in August of 2022 to allegedly avoid DHS from taking custody of their newborn, their 8th child. At the time the arrest papers were filed, Joy was allegedly pregnant with her 9th child on April 20th, 2023. The children says they were always starving and ate non-food products, including human waste, paint, paper, and cardboard. The kids were reportedly never allowed out of the rooms, and they were never allowed to play in their yard. There were claims they ate from 1 to 2 meals a day of ramen or cereal, and all the children ate out of was one bowl on the floor, as the table in the house was covered with too much stuff. They were kept in their car seats throughout the day, and another was restrained to a playpen. One child didn't have a bed or bedroom and was forced to sleep on dirty laundry in the laundry room because he wet the bed. The remaining children slept in a single bed. Jason was very physically abused and struck the children with his hands and a belt, leaving bruising on the children's bodies and faces. It was also clear and confirmed that Joy and Sierra neglected and starved and physically hit the children, but not to the same extent as Jason. One of the children told investigators that 2 of her siblings ate feces because they were probably hungry. According to a child, Joy and Jason stocked up on food and water because they thought the world was coming to an end. But they weren't allowed to eat any of that food, even though they had tons of food. The children were made to go hungry because the end of the world was coming about. She told investigators the children could only bathe once a week. I'm not sure how because there was no running water in the house. Her school-age siblings were reportedly homeschooled by Joy, and the others weren't allowed out of the rooms when they were actually homeschooled. The child said she was scared Mommy would die when Joy and Jason would fight. One of the smaller children that was interviewed displayed a trauma response. The child would become very wild and throw things, but eventually calm down and hug a DHS employee. However, the child would have outbursts vocally and not speak. Eventually, he did calm down, but on certain topics, he'd go into a fetal position or positions of avoidance to not communicate with the interviewer. When asked about the Orde house, the young boy responded with a long, drawn-out no and retreated to the floor. One child described a punishment of having hot sauce and pepper placed in her mouth and that she was forced to stand in the corner until her legs hurt. It also says she described being struck across the face with an open hand too many times to even count. One of the 6 children was the one who found the baby dead. That child was described as being very articulate and demonstrated how the baby looked when he was found. The child said she found the baby with only its arm and legs sticking out from under a plastic bag partially filled with clothes on a waterbed where it slept. She checked the baby's chest to see if its heart was beating, and it wasn't. She then placed her hand on the baby's stomach to see if it was breathing, and it wasn't. Baby B was also very pale. That's when she told her mother something was wrong. Joy directed the child to bring her the dead baby. Once with Joy, the child said her mother told Jason the baby's condition, and at some point, someone actually called 911. Apparently, the children said the couple wanted 12 children, even though they weren't feeding or caring for the children they had. Investigators also talked with neighbors of the couple. One neighbor stated they'd never seen the children playing outside and had only seen 2 children, ages 5 and 10, going to the car or coming from the car to the house. This neighbor said he had had problems with Jason for years. One neighbor stated Jason threatened to kill them when they bought property and had it surveyed. A former neighbor told investigators that Joy is pregnant the entire 7 years she had lived there and only seen the children a handful of times, but never more than 3 at a time. She and one other neighbor stated at one point a disabled adult had lived in that house. The former neighbor told investigators the couple would park her out in front in a wheelchair and let her bake in the sun all day and never check on her. If all the neighbors seen this occurring, I am unsure why they wouldn't turn the couple into authorities. I don't know. I don't get it. I never get it. Why neighbors just mind their own business like that. I would be so nosy and I would be turning them in 1,000,000,000 times. I never understand that. Joy and Jason, who were finally arrested, faced the charges of child abuse resulting in death, manslaughter, criminally negligent homicide, and 7 counts of child. According to court documents, Joy and Jason both posted $50,000 bond and were released. At this time, there aren't court documents to indicate that Sierra has been arrested. However, the arrest affidavit for Joy and Jason indicate there was a request for a warrant for the arrest of the 18-year-old. As of this time, that is all I know about this case. And it's plenty. And it's awful. And I'm sorry I had to put you through that. That was horrible. But if I hear anything else about this case, I will keep you updated. But you make sure you hit that subscribe button. Keep up with all my cases on here. I usually tell rarely hard true crime and breaking cases. And this was a breaking case. A bad breaking case. I pray for the children that did survive this house of horrors. I pray that they actually get a good new family and they're well taken care of because they so deserve it after being through something like that. It's just awful. I mean, neighbors kind of knew something was going on, but yet they didn't speak at all. I can't understand. If you know something, if you see something, speak up, please. I mean, I don't understand this. I don't understand why people do this. Always speak up. Don't keep quiet about if you think something's happening with children. That's awful. All right, guys, I love y'all, and I hope y'all have a blessed week. And I'll see you later. And he wants to tell you bye. Simon says bye, and he loves y'all. And he's a good boy most of the time. Most of the time, he's a good boy. And he wants to go do something fun now, so I guess we're going to. Love y'all. Bye.
I wake up every morning with a pain that I can't place. The devil don't visit for the weekend. Oh, he stays and stays and stays. And I can't shake this